watching The Breakdown with the Fight Analyst Garrett Kerman.
And welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown. I am the Fight Analyst Garrett Kerman, and with us for this week's episode is none other than my man, the Kraken himself, Ynastrilla. What's up, man? How's it going?
Going good, brother. And my most important part of this episode is happy birthday to you. So that's right now
thanks,
the most
man.
important thing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. But even though it's my birthday, we got to get in the podcast. Like always, Wednesdays, we try to get it in as much as possible. Show must go on. And, great show it is. We have you here helping us, break down some fights, make some money for our viewers, because that's the main goal here. But first, we got to talk about, let's have a little, if you guys weren't aware, I will be joining this man over here August 28th. At 305 Fights. We'll be on the commentary team talking about the fights, and I'm super excited for that. Thanks to him, we got this little gig together. Also, our man here will be fighting August 6th. Yes, the date has changed from July to August 6th. He will be fighting for Titan FC live at the Intercontinental Miami. Super stoked there, but we got to know, how's everything going? How's training been? What you've been up to?
Everything's been good. I've been getting a lot of work in at Coconut Creek. I've been working a lot with Mike Brown and Steve Mako. So that's been something I've been able to go to more. I've been having a little bit of car issues and stuff. I got that resolved. So with the fight being pushed back 4 weeks, it's been, a little good in a sense. I've been able to get more work in over there and get working with those guys and then work a lot more with my striking coach. So I feel like, my all-around MMA game just keeps improving, and with these 4 weeks too, it just gives me a little more time to plan. But other than that, bro, just training and watching fights and stuff, pretty much just living the fighter life. That's been pretty much it. Pretty boring stuff, but it entertains me. So
well, that's good, man. At least you're staying in shape. Yeah. You're ready to go, no matter who the opponent is. It's good that you're still getting in the good work with the guys over at American Top Team. It's just sky's the limit. I guess you're just pretty much chomping at the bit, trying to ready, kind of anxious to get back in there, right?
Oh yeah, man. It's been since December, and I feel like I've made a lot of adjustments, like how we talked about last time. Especially working with the sports psychologist, and just getting even closer with my coaches and having a lot more of that one-on-one time. Because like how I told you last time, when my gym shut down, it was everybody kind of like spread out, and everything kind of became chaotic, and the sessions were never like kind of set days and stuff like that. So I feel like there's a whole system that we have now and stuff. I'm really happy about how everything's going. So
that's great, man. That's really good. And while you were talking about how you have a mental coach, how like mentally straining is this sport of MMA?
I think for me the most mentally straining thing, and it's funny enough, I'm going through it right now, and it's good. I feel like I have him. I think last year the biggest thing for me was during this whole COVID thing, my fights kept getting postponed, and it was one fight after the other. It went from me fighting in March to me fighting in April to me fighting in May to me fighting in June, and I felt like I was in a never-ending camp the entire year. And I feel like one thing a lot of people don't realize is you have to be in a certain mindset when you have a fight coming up, and it's not a mindset you want to have 12 months a year, especially. It ends up burning you out, and I didn't know anything about that, and I felt like by the time it came time to me to fight, I felt a little burned out. I would put my body through hell as far as training 2-3 times a day, because I don't feel like anybody works harder than me. I feel like almost every fighter will say that, but I do feel like I try to leave no stone unturned when I get ready for a fight, and I feel like that takes a toll on the body. And when my fights would get postponed like 3-4 weeks, I wouldn't take a step back. I would just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And I think mentally it was more draining than anything, more than the physical. And I feel like with him, we've worked a lot of things like mentally, just to be in a good headspace and to be able to know when to turn that switch on and when to turn it off. I think is one of the most important things, because there's a certain switch that you have to have on when you're getting ready for a fight, but it's also important to not have that thing on 24/7, because you will get burned out. I think the biggest thing about this sport is like a marathon, not a sprint. I think especially if, like, the way I view this sport, I want to be in this sport. So, God willing, I'm like 40 or in my late 30s. So I have like a good 20-year career or close to 20-year career. So it's just learning how to kind of manage it and kind of learn how to kind of ride the wave, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, that must be crazy, like you said, on your mental, having
Yeah.
to go in and out of camp, going from being relaxed to being super aggressive. That must be extremely tough. The reason why I kind of brought it up is because I don't know if you saw in the tabloids and the MMA media, violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, getting arrested after his little tweet that came out about his mental issues and how he's getting better and he's seeking help and other fighters should do the same. And he got arrested for domestic violence and all that, having a gun, saying he was suicidal and a bunch of crazy stuff. So it's that's why I was kind of asking you about it, like how the sport can possibly change a normal person to do something kind of chaotic like that. So
Yeah, I think it's just having that balance, and I think that's something that I think a lot of times too, like we're in a sport where like we don't like talking about. I guess like we're in a sport where it's like an alpha sport, and you don't really want to sit here and say like I'm stressed or I feel nervous and things like that. But for me, like seeing a guy like George St. Pierre, who to me that's the greatest of all time. I think a lot of people are gonna say have different opinions on who the greatest of all time is, but to me personally, I think to many others that's the greatest of all time. And just hearing him talk about like how he would feel before fights, and then even saying how like he started working with like a sports psychologist and stuff like that. It was something that I wanted to try just to kind of see what it was about, and I feel like the most mentally well that I feel like as far as in the sport, because I feel mentally well as far as like being able to perform on fight night and learning how to kind of peak for fight night, not like feeling like this feeling about you're about to fight 24/7 and knowing kind of how to peak on the night of the fight. I think that's one of the most important things in the sport. So
yeah, I mean, I like I said, it must be super tough. Everybody's got shit going on in their personal lives, and they got to worry about fighting 24/7, staying in shape, cutting weight. It's just a boatload of things going on. So when that those things kind of happen, it's not kind of out of the blue in a way, but it is because as a fan, you really don't see these guys being as malicious as people on the outside see them as. But when this thing kind of happens, you have the outsiders being like, well, I kind of told you so. They're kind of playing the example here. A cage fighter beating up their domestic partner. But
yeah.
It is what it is. But anyways, we're here to break down UFC Vegas 30. That's what we're here for, to make you guys a lot of money. Unfortunately, not coming off a great night last week. Kind of up and down. We ended up even on the night. Bigger bets won, smaller bets lost, and kind of just piled up and got to about zero, unfortunately. But we're looking to get that money back this weekend, UFC Vegas 30. Ton of money to be made. We got heavyweights in the main event. Alexander Volkov, Ciryl Gane. Going to be a great matchup, great stylistic, striking matchup there. But let's first start on the preliminary card. In the lightweight division between Yancy Medeiros and Damir Hadzovic. Right now, Hadzovic is a minus 150 favorite, and the comeback on Yancy Medeiros is plus 122. Who do you got in this fight?
I mean, this definitely is going to be a dogfight, I think, from the start to the finish. But I think right now, Yancy's been going through a little period of kind of like on and off performances. So I think I'm going to have to lean a little bit towards, what was the name again so I don't butcher it?
Damir Hadzovic.
Yeah, Damir Hadzovic. I've watched, I think, his last two fights, and he looked real sharp. I think Yancy right now, he's a little bit on an up and down kind of swing, and I think I'm probably going to lean a little bit towards Damir on this one.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Damir as well. I was leaning towards him in the first time they were supposed to fight, I believe 2 months ago. But yeah, I just think he's a much more technical striker. He tends to only lose to grapplers, like we've seen in his last fight against Renato Moicano, who subbed him in like a sub minute. So it was kind of you could kind of see the type of fighters that really give troubles to Hadzovic, and I don't think Yancey's gonna be that. He'll have the volume advantage, and he has a sizable 5.5 reach advantage here too, so he has that. But I think the Hadzovic is going to be chopping away at the legs. He's going to be coming forward. He's going to be throwing combinations. He's going to be getting the grill, pushing the pace, pushing the pressure. And I think he's going to really lay it on Medeiros. And he might even get a knockout in this one too. So yeah, I'm taking Hadzovic here, -150. I think it's a decent line as well. All right, next up, we have a fight at 145 pounds between Charles Rosa and Justin James. Rosa is -170 favorite, and the comeback on James is a +138 underdog. What do you got?
I mean, this fight, is one of the ones I was talking to you about before the show. I think it's one of those fights I can really help you guys break down because I trained with Charles Rosa at American Team Sunrise. I think this is a very good matchup for him, in my opinion. I think, especially with Justin James, you kind of know what you get with him. He likes to fight. He's gonna bite down the mouthpiece. He's gonna throw heavy leather. He has a good guillotine. I think Charles, he's made some great adjustments. I think the last 2 fights, or the last 2 out of 3, he's been out grappled a little bit and out wrestled a little bit. I think that's been the area where he struggled. I think he's made some changes. He's joining Sanford MMA, and also before that he was a little hesitant to kind of work the wrestling a little bit with the neck injury that he had and stuff like that. But now, he's feeling a lot more better as far as in that area. But I think on the feet, I think Charles Rosa just has more tools than Justin James, and I think Justin James does have a good guillotine, but I think Charles Rosa just has more ways to win this fight. And if I have to lean towards it, I think Charles Rosa is probably going to win a decision. That's probably how I see this fight going, honestly.
Yeah, I think this is a great matchup for Rosa, to be honest with you. We've seen Rosa go into dogfights. He's gone the distance with Yair Rodriguez. It took Shane Burgos almost, the entirety of the fight to finish Rosa. Rosa's really, really tough. And we've seen James, he's pretty much a one-punch knockout type of fighter. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to land, that one heavy shot that will put you down, set you down. I just don't see that happening against Rosa. And we've seen James fade time and time again after round 1. So as long as Rosa makes him work, Rosa doesn't get taken down, he should win this fight clear as day in rounds 2 and 3, if not round 1 as well. I think we're getting a great spot here, -170. I think that's a great line. Anything under -200, definitely playable. 2-3 units, you're gonna make a good type of money on Rosa. I'm fairly confident in this play. I really am. So yeah, I'm gonna go with him. Next up, we got a fight at 135 pounds in the women's bantamweight division between Julia Avila and Julia Stoliarenko. Right now, the Raging Panda is -355 favorite, and Julia is a +270 underdog. What do you got?
In this fight, to be honest, I haven't seen too much of the opponent, the underdog right now. So I think in this one, I'm probably gonna have to lean towards the favorite on this one.
Yeah, I'm going Raging Panda. Julia Stoliarenko, majority. I'm pretty sure all 9 of her wins have been by armbar. Pretty sure all 9 of her wins have been by armbar. So, and Julia Avila has never been submitted. She went and grappled against Sijara Eubanks, who is, obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, really high level stuff on the ground. She was taken down, she was controlled, but never gave up position to get submitted. So that was, impressive. In come Julia. Her stand-up is Chase Hooper-esque bad when it comes to that. And she's pretty much a sub or bust type of fighter. She's got to pull guard. As long as Avila just doesn't give up an arm, she should win this fight, clear as day. I really don't like -355, especially on a women's MMA fight. Anything could really happen. But I do think Avila should win this fight all day. She couldn't ask for an easier fight. Let's be honest. All right. Next up, we have a fight at light heavyweight between Marcin Prochnio and Ike Villanueva. Right now, Prochnio is a -215 favorite, and the comeback on Villanueva is a +172 underdog. Who do you got?
To be honest, I have not seen any of these two in this one, so I'll probably sit this fight out just to be honest on this one.
Ah man. All right. So Prochnio, he's 1-3 in his UFC stint. Last fight he won against Kildare Roundtree. Kind of impressive. But you know what you're getting from Roundtree is pretty much one round of cardio. Showed it there. He was extremely gassed rounds 2 and 3. In comes Ike Villanueva. He does have cardio. He's one of those Mexican type fighters. Super tough, super hard to really get out of there. Coming down to 205, he got a win against Vinicius Moreira. He looked really good. He got the knockout win there. I think there's going to be a pretty good slugfest between these two. It's going to be back and forth. I kind of see some value on Ike Villanueva at plus 172. I really wouldn't lay the juice at minus 215 on Prochnio. I think Ike Villanueva has a chance to hang in there, and just throw caution to the wind, go volume for volume against Prochnio. Ike Villanueva is going to be coming forward, so Prochnio is going to need a ton of those leg kicks to keep him at distance. And I think Villanueva is just going to land the heavier shots, land more volume, and possibly even take him out. All 3 of Prochnio's losses have been by knockout in his UFC stint. So I'm taking the dog here on Ike Villanueva at plus 172. All right, next up, we have a fight at 170 pounds between Warley Alves and short notice replacement Jeremiah Wells at plus 198. Who do you got in this one?
I've seen a little bit of Jeremiah Wells, but I'm really gonna have to say I think Warley Alves is one of those guys that he's one of the dark horses in the division, in my opinion. I think if he can get a couple more things together, I think he can be pretty problematic in this division. I think he has a lot of weapons, and I think in this fight I'll probably favor Warley Alves for sure.
Yeah, this is an interesting fight. Jeremiah Wells hasn't fought since 2019, but he's been on the UFC's radar for quite some time. So it was pretty much he was just waiting for the call. He was getting ready to fight Miguel Baeza last year. And I'm not sure who pulled out, but one of the two pulled out there. But he's a really good wrestler. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Daniel Gracie at Renzo Gracie in Philadelphia. So he trains with Sean Brady over there. So you're going to get a really good grappler coming into this fight. Warley Alves, he looked like a brand new fighter in his last fight against Muniz Lazez. I think he came out bad out of hell, and threw caution to the wind and just went for the knockout, and he was able to just crack Muniz and put him down. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a really good fight. But I feel like there's some value in Jeremiah Wells at plus 198. He's never been finished as an amateur. He's never been finished as a professional. He's got the grappling advantage. I think he's going to be able to get the takedowns. I don't think he has the jiu-jitsu advantage. I think Warley Alves is a higher level of a black belt. But I do think Wells's jiu-jitsu will be on full display into containing and holding Alves down on the mat. And I think he's going to be landing the heavier shots. Alves will be gassing possibly midway through the second round if Wells comes out and starts grappling heavy. We'll see what happens, but I think there's some value on Wells at plus 198. I just wouldn't lay minus 250 on Alves. I was going to take him in the fight before this, but unfortunately, now in comes Wells, and I think Wells has the skills to pull off the upset. Last time I took 2 UFC debuters, and they came in and cashed for us as underdogs. So one was plus 200, and one was plus 140. That was RoboCop, and I forgot the other guy's name, but Kamuela Kirk. So those 2 guys cashed in. I think we might cash in on another one here. Plus 198. Next up, we have a fight. This is a fight I'm really looking forward to in a welterweight division between Shavkat Rakhmonov and Michel Prazeres. Rakhmonov is a minus 265 favorite, and Prazeres in his return fight after being popped for PEDs by USADA, 2-year layoff is plus 210. Who do you got?
I believe Shavkat, he fought the night of Khabib and Gaethje, right? That he submitted the Brazilian cowboy, I believe. Is that him?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Michelle Pereira too. But I think definitely in this fight, I'm really impressed with Shavkov, and I'm definitely gonna lean towards Shavkov. And I think, to be honest, I think he's just better than him everywhere, and I think he's gonna dictate kind of how he wins this fight. But I'm gonna lean towards Shavkov on this one.
Yeah. Shavkat is easily my favorite bet on the card by like a long shot. I mean, you got Michel Prazeres. He's given up 7 inches of height, 11 inches of reach, or 10 inches of reach in this fight. Prazeres obviously should not be fighting at 170. He's a midget. He's even tiny for 155. But he's a one-trick pony. He's gonna try to take you down, and he's gonna try to submit you. It's not gonna happen in this fight. It's not gonna happen off the PEDs. There was a reason why he was jacked to the gills his entire career, and that's why. Coming off the juice, I don't think he's gonna be, as athletic as he was. He's also pushing 40 years old. And you know what I love to do? I love to fade old Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters. Damian Maia was the last one. Jacare Souza before that. Who else? Alexei Oleinik just last week. Fade old Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, and you will be successful in MMA betting. And it's going to stay true here. Rakhmonov is a true, legit prospect, and he's going to be 14-0 in his career. He's still undefeated. He's going to be 14-0 after this win. So yeah, take Shavkat Rakhmonov to the bank and cash out. I mean, minus 265. I think that's a gift. I think he should be around where Julia Avila is, or even better than that, to be honest. All right, next up we have a fight in the light heavyweight division between Kennedy and Chukwu, I think, and Danilo Marquez. It's basically a pick'em fight. Kennedy's taking this fight on short notice, minus 115, and the comeback on Danilo Marquez, minus 105. Who do you got?
And this is I can definitely see why it's a pick'em fight between these two guys. I definitely feel like they match up both very well with each other, but I think just based off, kind of Kennedy taking on short notice, I'm probably gonna lean towards Danilo on this one. I think just having the full camp, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It pretty much boils down to if Danilo can take this fight to the mat. I think he can. I think at one point he should be able to drag it to the mat. Trains out of a really good camp in King's MMA, so he's been really leveling up his takedowns. Obviously with Marvin Vettori there, Kelvin Gastelum, fighters like that. He's been training jiu-jitsu with Damian Maia and who else over Kings? Oh yeah, and Bernil Dariush. So his jiu-jitsu is pretty high level, and he's shown that over his time. His grappling is his strong suit. And the thing is with Kennedy, I've seen in his fight against Darko Stosic, he tends to go on all fours when he tries to get up, and I feel if he turns his back to Danilo, he's just gonna jump on it and get the hooks in and just find the neck and choke him out. I think he's worlds better on the mat than Kennedy is than him on the feet. Danilo does still have some knockouts under his name, so he's not completely terrible on the feet, and he's a big dude. He's 6'6", so I don't think the reach is going to be playing too much of a factor if it was like Kennedy taking on Stosic. So I think Danilo should be able to take this to the mat at some point, and then he'll just be able to keep Kennedy on the mat. And so minus 105, I think you're still getting a good line there. I know Kennedy's going to have the striking advantage, but I think the grappling advantage is going to be better in this one. All right. Next up, we have a fight. Our first fight on the main card is a fight at 155 pounds between Renato Moicano and Jai Herbert. Moicano is a minus 230 favorite, and the comeback on Herbert is a plus 184 underdog. Who do you got?
I think here, especially just being a minus 230 favorite, I'm definitely going to lean towards Moicano. I know he had a tough outing in his last fight. I think he fought probably one of the best strikers in the lightweight division, period. But I think Moicano all around is probably one of the best guys. I think he has some of the best grappling, and his wrestling is leveling up, and I think the striking is only getting better. But I really think Moicano in this fight could probably win by submission, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna need to mix in the takedowns here. Jai Herbert does have a sizable 5-inch reach advantage. He uses it pretty well. He was able to knock down Francisco Trinaldo in his last fight, so he's got some pop in his hands. I believe 9 of it or all 10 of his wins are by knockout, if I'm not mistaken. So he does got pop. That leads me to a little bit of concern with Moicano. He's been finished in each of his last 3 losses. It's not very good. And, thinking about moving up in weight was really going to help his chin. Definitely did not help at all. So he's going to really need to use those calf kicks against the really skinny legs of Jai Herbert and just keep hammering those. And then eventually take him to the mat. That's where he's better by, a pretty good margin. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. So as long as he fights smart and doesn't get into a firefight, it's his fight all day. But once he starts trading with Jai Herbert, that's when things are going to get dicey. That's why I'm kind of reluctant to play him at minus 230. Maybe you can look at a bet by submission. You might get some good odds there. And but that's the only way I can really play him. Minus 230 is a little bit too steep. I do think he comes out victorious. It's going to be a little dicey at times, and I feel like he's going to get rocked. But I think he's going to be able to drag this fight to the mat at some point and just wear on Herbert and pretty much just take him out, get a rear naked choke. All right. Next up, we have a fight at 170 pounds between Tim Means and Nicholas Dalby. Means is the minus 152 favorite, and the comeback on Dalby is a plus 124 underdog. Who do you got?
Oh man, I didn't even know this fight was on the card. This has to be one of my favorite fights on the card now.
Yeah, this is a really good fight.
Yeah, both guys come to scrap for sure, but this is a tough one to pick. But I think I'm probably gonna have to go with Tim Means. I like a lot of the stuff that Tim Means does. I think he's a little. I believe he has a reach advantage in this fight. I believe he's really. I don't know. I just think he's a little bit of the better striker in this fight. I think Dalby's a little more of the brawl. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go with Tim Means on this one. I think he'll probably get a decision win here.
This is a really good fight. They were both supposed to fight completely different fighters. Tim Means had Danny Roberts last week. Nicholas Dalby has Sergey Kondoshko this week. So both opponents fell through. Now they're fighting each other. So you got that short notice stature coming into this fight. Tim Means, he throws a lot of volume. He's very, very boxing centric into his strikes. Doesn't throw a ton of leg kicks. And then Tim Means has to go from a Danny Roberts type of striker with no grappling skills to Nicholas Dalby, who's a karate style type fighter and has some, grappling skills to boot. I think it's going to be tougher on Tim Means than it is going to be Dalby taking this fight on short notice because Dalby fights guys like Tim Means all the time. He fought Daniel Rodriguez, who's, a carbon copy of the same type of fighter. 2 gritty guys, throws a ton of boxing techniques, 1-2, uses their range very well, throws a ton of volume. So he knows what he's coming into in this fight with Tim Means. I don't think Means has a ton of power in his punches. And I think, Dalby being able to use his kicks, keep the fight at distance, Means he's not going to be able to get in and use his boxing as much. Dalby switches stances very well. The leg kicks are going to come into a play big time. And then at the end of the day, Dalby's going to mix in some takedowns. We've seen Mike Perry take him down and control him for over 3 minutes on the mat. If Dalby lands a takedown, per round, he could probably win this fight. I think he can eke out another decision win, just like he kind of did against Daniel Rodriguez in this fight. And I was trying to tell people, Rodriguez was going to be the mush of the week of that fight. I just had a really bad feeling that, being at such a massive favor at minus 300 on short notice is just doesn't seem feasible. And I'm taking Dalby and another short notice spot at plus 124 here. All right, next up, we got. This is a great fight. This is going to be a barn burner in the featherweight division between Andre Fili and Daniel Pineda. Andre Fili is a minus 230 favorite, and the comeback on Pineda is a plus 184 underdog. Who do you got?
I really like Fili in this matchup. I think Fili, yeah, yeah. I just see all around. Yeah, I probably got Fili on this one.
I feel I have Fili as well. I think he does look better in this fight than others. I do think it's going to be dicey in the first round to round and a half. Pineda throws hard punches. I feel like Fili's gonna get tagged in the early portion, but I do think that Pineda's gonna fade after round one. Fili should be able to pick him apart towards the later rounds, possibly get some takedowns. He's got really underrated wrestling. Garrett, the weed smokers keep losing. Can Fili break the streak? I think Fili can break the streak. I really do. Andre Fili is he's tough. He's got wrestling. He's got some really good boxing. It just he needs to keep out of the power of Pineda and just wear him down. Kind of like Cub Swanson did. Pineda has really heavy leg kicks, so that's going to play a big factor early on in this fight. But if he's able to check them and keep out of range and just jab at him, he's got a 5-inch reach advantage. So if he uses that reach really well, some teep kicks, some leg kicks, some jab straights, keep them out at range, keep them away from the leg kicks, keep them away from the power right hand. I think Fili should be able to take this fight, and I hope he does win because I've been a big fan of Fili for a while now. So yeah, I'm taking Fili here minus 230. It's not a fight that I really want to bet on because I really don't like the line. And I feel like Pineda does have his chances of getting a knockout. So I'd rather just sit and watch the fight. That's going to be an absolute barn burner. Maybe take the under 2.5 rounds. That's not a bad bet. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, actually, that's one of my favorite bets on this fight. The under 2.5 rounds right now, I believe it's around plus 105, minus 115. It's about even money. I think that's a great bet. I'm pretty sure Pineda has not gotten to a decision in forever or not at all. So he either gets a finish or he gets finished. Under 2.5 rounds, if you got it, bet it. I think that's a great bet. Take that to the bank. All right. Next up, we have a fight. Oh, this is a great fight too, man. This card is going to be insane. In the bantamweight division between Ronnie Barcelos and Timur Valiev. Right now, Barcelos is a minus 230 favorite, and Valiev is a plus 184 underdog. Who do you got?
Man, Barcelos has been a guy that I've been talking about a lot lately, as far as like guys that are up and coming that I think are going to make a splash in the division. I just think, man, he's a great grappler. I mean, he has some good takedowns. He has some great striking. I think he's big for the weight class too. I think as long as his weight cut goes smooth, because I think that's the only issues he's had a little bit, because he is pretty big for the weight class. But I think he's a future top 5 future champion. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with Barcelos in this fight.
Yeah, man. I really wanted to take Valiev as a plus 184 underdog, but man, you can't. Barcelos is the truth.
He's nasty.
He is so good. He's so well-rounded too in every aspect. He's beaten some really good competition. So he's battle tested. Unfortunately, he's 34 years old. So, not giving him a ranked opponent is really doing a disservice here, because we're not seeing him really progress in the rankings. We're seeing him face another top prospect. So Barcelos should be fighting someone ranked right now so he can start climbing the ladder to final title contention. Right now, being unranked, fighting another ranked fighter, he might get, number 15 at the most. And then it depends on when he gets another fight. He might be even 2 years or a year and a half out of possibly getting a title contention if he riles off so many wins. That's the only thing, but I think Barcelos is, a great prospect. He's great everywhere. He's striking. He's got power. He's got the wrestling. He's got the jiu-jitsu. And, he's 16-1 for a reason. He's been running through everybody. I think he's about 4-0 in the UFC. The dude is absolutely killing it. Valiev, he's good as well. He was one of the top prospects coming into, his UFC debut. He got starched in a comeback win, in that fight, unfortunately. But then he came back and absolutely dominated Martin Day at 145 pounds. So that was very impressive. But I think he's just outmatched here pretty much everywhere. Barcelos is going to be the bigger fighter. I believe he's going to be the one landing the heavier shots, and I don't see Valiev being able to take him down. That's the only thing that may happen. Valiev may take him down for short periods of time, but I think Barcelos should be able to get back up and just pretty much put it on Valiev and wear him out and take him out towards the later portion of the fights. So I got Barcelos minus 230. I still think at minus 230 you're still getting a pretty good line there. I think he probably should be even a heavier favorite. I think they're giving too much stock into Valiev coming into this fight. All right, so we're up to our co-main event of the evening in the heavyweight division between Tanner Boser and Ovin St. Preux. Tanner Boser taking this fight on about a week's notice at minus 176, and Ovin St. Preux stepping up to heavyweight to take on Tanner Boser in about a week's notice at plus 142. Who do you got?
Man, I think I've been a little disappointed lately with OSP. I think there's been a lot of inconsistency kind of in his game and stuff, but I'm not a fan of him fighting a heavyweight. I mean, I know last time he was a heavyweight, he was probably fighting one of the biggest heavyweights in Ben Rothwell, but I just don't think heavyweight is good for him. I think anywhere that he's going to do something would be at 205, and I think even with Tanner Boser kind of taking this on short notice, I think even the line being only minus 176, I think Tanner Boser is most likely, I think I see him winning this fight. I see him even probably finishing Ovin St. Preux. I don't know. I don't like Ovin St. Preux a heavyweight, and that for me is the biggest factor that I just think Tanner Boser is probably going to get the win here.
Yeah, I'm very confident in Boser. I bet against Boser on Ilir Latifi as a big underdog, and I cashed in, and I kind of knew it was a bad matchup. But you got Ovin St. Preux. He hasn't had a takedown since 2019. He's not agile. He doesn't have great cardio, and he's fighting a heavyweight on short notice. Last heavyweight fight, he got pretty much pieced up by Ben Rothwell for 15 minutes, and then they were just hugging each other in the third round to just skate on by because both of them had absolutely no cardio. Tanner Boser is going to be able to strike all day with Ovin St. Preux, stay on the outside, and just pick him apart. This guy doesn't get touched. Boser's not going to get clipped. So it pretty much comes down to as long as he keeps his fight standing, he wins the fight. Like clear as day. He finally is going to get a fight that he wins on the judges' scorecards and not get fucked here. He's finally getting back into the win column. He's going to cash in. He's going to win on the judges' scorecards as well. He's going to get it. I know he hasn't been training too much because of the quarantine in Canada, but I don't really think that's going to be a major factor. He's taking fights on about a week's notice over in Russia, so it's not anything new to him. I think he comes in, finally gets back into the win column. And like I said, Ovin St. Preux at heavyweight on short notice, not good. He was not ready. He's not built for a heavyweight fight on short notice. The dude's already slow. He already has gas issues, and he's not going to be throwing a ton of volume. I'm pretty sure Tanner Boser might outstrike him by 3 times as many strikes if he doesn't finish him. So I'm very confident in Boser getting a win here. All right, we're finally up to our main event. This would be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to it. It's finally a fight that I'm looking forward to Ciryl Gane showing us what he can do. It's a fight at a heavyweight division between Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov. Ciryl Gane is a minus 172 favorite and come back on Alexander Volkov as a plus 140 underdog. What do you got?
Man, this is a tough one because Volkov, he looked really good in the Overeem fight, and he's looking sharp on the feet. He has heavy power, but like most heavyweights do. But I've been really impressed with Gane. I think a lot of people thought his fight with Rosenstrike was a little boring, but I was pretty impressed with the way he was able to switch stances, kind of make Rosenstrike miss. I think that kind of movement at heavyweight, you don't really see a guy being able to fluently go from righty to southpaw. He has some pretty decent takedowns, some good striking, very elusive. And I think in this fight, with Volkov, I think that's going to be the deciding factor. I just think Gane just has a lot of more weapons. I think Volkov, he always has that power factor and that one shot, kind of factor in it. But I think Gane's going to mix up this fight a lot. And I see Gane winning this fight, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been really tossing and turning when it comes to this fight. This is pretty much the biggest fight of Gane's career. Just pretty much a title contender fight, I would say. He's only 8-0. He's going against Volkov, who he's got 41 fights. That's a lot more fights. That's a lot more fights. He's got so much more experience. He's fighting a guy that has 80-inch reach. He's fighting a guy that's 6'7". Those are things that he's never had to deal with. He's never had to deal with a extremely long, fighter that can kick the way he does, that can throw, punches the way he does. So that's going to be, something he's never had to do. He's definitely, I think, going to be the more athletic fighter. He's going to be he's definitely going to be quicker. He's going to be more agile. That's for sure. All of that. And he's going to need to do that for 25 minutes and pretty much stay out of the reach of Volkov. Volkov at 265 now has got some serious fucking power. His last 2 fights have been 265 pounds. He's put on a ton of muscle, a ton of mass since the Cursed Blades fight, where he was at 245 pounds. So he added 20 pounds of muscle, and he's been knocking dudes the fuck out. Walt Harris got knocked the fuck out. Overeem got knocked the fuck out. So this is going to be a tough fight. I'm looking forward to see what Ciryl Gane is made of. But I feel like I got to stick to my guns here. And I got to go with Alexander Volkov at plus 140. I've been a fan of Volkov. I mean, I think the last fight he lost was Derek Lewis, and he was dogging Lewis for 14 minutes and 45 seconds of the fight. It wasn't even close. And then he got that knockout from hell. I believe that was that and Cursed Blades. And the Cursed Blades is one off, because Cursed Blades is a one type of fighter that, there's no fighter in the heavyweight division that's going to take you down 14 times. There's no one. Yeah. So when it comes to Volkov, he's going to be able to strike with the best. I think he's one of the best strikers in the heavyweight division. So, Gane can prove me wrong and show me that, he is the real deal and he is the next title contender. Or Volkov shows him that, there's levels to this shit. Granted, Gane's only 8-0 and his best win is Rosenstruck, who didn't throw an ounce of volume at all. He didn't throw back. So we'll see what happens there. Gane wins. Garrett, don't do it, bro. He's not missing the protein shakes. Yeah. I don't know, man. Gane is Gane's a freak athlete, and we've seen it. He was a top prospect coming in at only 3-0. Look at that now. 5-0. He went 5-0, and now he's pretty much in title contention with just 5 wins, just 8 wins in his entire professional mixed martial arts career. And he's in title contention against Alexander Volkov, who it has 41 fights to his name. So that's a lot. So we'll see what happens. I'm super stoked for that fight. We're looking to make money this weekend. UFC Vegas 30. That's our breakdown for this week's podcast. But my man, before we go, if you have anybody to shout out, the floor is yours. Say, where everybody can find you on social media as well. It's all yours, my man.
Like I always say, always my longtime sponsor, and I always tell you guys, hey, I think sometimes we might sleep in a bad position at night, wake up with a sore neck. We might be sitting, long hours in an office, and have a little bit of back pain and stuff like that. So, I think everybody could use, a chiropractor sometimes. So I think if you're ever in the Pembroke Pines area, I think ChiroFit Pines is your guy. So if you're ever in that Pembroke Pines area, ChiroFit Pines, I think, is the guy you should check out. And if you guys want to follow me and stay up to date on like my fights and stuff like that, on Instagram, my name is Christian with CH_Y28. And on Facebook, my last name is Christian Ynastrilla. Like always, like I always say on every episode, my last name is Tongue Twister. So the last name is Ynastrilla. And yeah, guys, just check me out there. I'm looking to stay active, and I want to fight all of it, and I'm excited. I hope, August 6th we get the show rolling, and after that, just look to stay active after that. And always thank you to you, Garrett. I think you're the man, bro. And I think, hey, you guys on this show listening to his bets, I think he makes a lot of good bets, and he's gonna keep your bank accounts pretty happy. So just keep, listening to him and recommending people to look at his show too.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on. As always, we love having you on. We love your insight and everything. And we love following your journey and and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you as always. And everybody, you know where to find me at Fight Analyst LLC, Twitter, the Fight Analyst LLC, Instagram, and Fight Analysts on Facebook. Get my packages for UFC Vegas 30, for Bellator, for PFL. We're making a comeback. PFL kind of slaughtered my ass last week. I'm coming back with a vengeance. Going to cash in a ton of money this week. So head over to thefightanalyst.com. Get my packages today. And with that said, we will see you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great night. See ya.